At 63 years old, I made a terrifying decision. I walked away from a stable high-tech career to jump into remote work. I thought I was getting freedom, but I quickly realized that the landscape was a virtual minefield. I saw the too good to be true offers, and I knew to walk away from those. But the real dangers, the hidden keystroke trackers, the tax traps that could bankrupt me, and the 1099 contractor trick, well, those were harder to dodge. Now, this video is the 7 crucial questions that I wish someone had told me before I accepted an offer. Stay with me because they can transform your second act. Okay, some real talk here. Now, before you even get to an offer, you need to know if the company's even real or are you about ready to get played. Now, look, I saw plenty of offers that were just too good to be true, and thankfully, I followed my gut and just walked away from those really fast. That's the easy part. The danger is those job postings that look just real enough. The first job posting I seriously considered, well, it set off every alarm I had. It was vague promises, buzzwords, urgency that felt way too manufactured. I wasn't fooled by the easy money, but I was almost fooled by the urgency. Now, here's what I learned. When a company wants an answer fast, the real question isn't why do they want me, it's why don't they want me to ask questions. So you want to start here. 3 platforms, only 3, FlexJobs, LinkedIn, and Indeed, not some sketchy site that promises easy money. FlexJobs can cost you a few bucks, but it's going to save you from wading through 100 scams. And your very first filter when you start searching, fully remote, not hybrid, not remote eligible, fully remote. Because work from home occasionally is just corporate code for we want the flexibility, not you. Fully remote means control, stability, freedom. Don't let that vague language steal that from you. Now, here's the hard line. The thing that ends the conversation immediately. Now, if anyone, a recruiter, a hiring manager, a random Gmail address asks for money up front, you're done. Close the tab, walk away. No legitimate employer is going to charge for equipment, not for training, not for software licenses. The moment that they want your money instead of your skills, it's not a job, it's a scam. Also, watch out for these. No video interview, AI-written job descriptions, interviews only on Telegram or WhatsApp. Life's too short to fall for this kind of stuff. Now, I know this is a lot of information, but don't worry about writing all these questions down. I've compiled everything, all the questions, all the red flags into a checklist that you can download later. That way you can just focus on the video right now. All right, so let's say the company checks out okay and the job posting looks real. But here's what happens after you accept. This is what happened to me. The offer came in. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, ready to start. Then I get an email, please install Time Doctor. Well, I didn't know what that was. I installed it anyway, figuring it was just part of the company software that I needed to have. Instant regret. Every keystroke is tracked. Every window is logged. Every moment of inactivity flagged like I was skipping class in high school or something. I'm coming from a manufacturing multi-million-dollar federal contracts, aerospace tolerances, and no one has ever stood over my shoulder, ever. Suddenly, I'm being babysat by a piece of software that asks me every 5 minutes, are you still working? The truth is, it was insulting, like I was back in grade school with a hall monitor. And here's the kicker. Nobody told me about that before I accepted. So before you accept a remote job, you need to ask directly, what monitoring software do you use? Because almost every single one of these employers use it. So be sure to ask them. And if they dodge that question, you've got your answer about the kind of company they are. If they're transparent, well, at least you know what you're walking into. All right, here's something else that caught me off guard. What software I'd be using? I thought, well, maybe just email, maybe Zoom or Microsoft Teams, and a project management tool. That's it. First month, 10 different platforms. Zoom, Google Meet, Slack, Asana, Figma, Dropbox, Google Docs, content management apps, a CRM system, and an analytics analysis application, and a lot more. And every one of them had their own login, its own quirks, and its own intuitive interface that wasn't intuitive at all. Training? Well, how about an outdated video tutorial and a Google Doc? I was drowning in apps before I even got to the actual job. And I've got a background in technical writing, CMS, and CNC programming. I should be able to handle all this stuff, but this was just overwhelming right out of the gate. So when you're interviewing, ask what tools will I be using daily and how do you train people on them? Now, here's another question. What tools do you expect me to have beyond a computer, a webcam, and a microphone? Because some companies want you to buy specialized software, expensive monitors, and other hardware right out of your pocket. Know that going in. And if they say, well, we just kind of figure it out as we go, that translates to we're just going to drown you in all sorts of stuff. So real companies are going to invest in real onboarding. That's how you know the difference. All right, now that you know what to watch out for, let me show you how to vet these people, because most people get an interview and they automatically assume that the company is real. That's a mistake. Now, here's what I did. I made a list of questions I actually wanted to ask. I hadn't interviewed in almost 15 years, so I wasn't going to take any chances. So what I did was I took a pack of sticky notes and I placed those questions on sticky notes right around my web camera. That way I wouldn't blank out or get distracted. And when they asked, "Do you have any questions for me?" I started asking my questions. What do you like about working here? What would you change if you could? What kind of turnover rate does this company have? I followed up with, what do you think is the main reason that people leave? Why is this position open right now? And I watched and I listened and I paid attention to their body language, because their body language told me more than their words ever could. The woman who was interviewing me, she was genuinely great, and I'll be working directly for her. That matters. Now, a company that dances around turnover, note that and just be cautious. And here's something a lot of people skip. Ask about the benefits package. Things like unlimited PTO sounds great until you realize the company culture really doesn't allow you to take it. I found out a lot of my high-producing coworkers, well, they found out the hard way. So you want to ask, what's your actual PTO policy and how much do people realistically take? Is there a 401k match? What about health insurance? Are there other stipends or bonuses? Don't let great-sounding benefits mask a weak package. And here's something else. After that first interview, I checked Glassdoor. So you want to read what previous employees actually said. Now, keep in mind, often it's the disgruntled ones that are going to be leaving feedback, but patterns don't lie. Multiple people mention the same problem. It's real. Now, here's the thing about all this vetting and preparation. It shows that you're serious, and serious people are going to get better offers. Now, when I got my offer, I didn't just jump at it. I negotiated it. So I asked for more, several thousand more. You know what? I got it. Also insisted on a second conversation before I made my decision. Not because I didn't trust them so much, but because I wanted to be sure for myself. You know what? They respected that. And they even asked me to submit a writing sample, and they paid me for it. Top rate. Now, that told me that they valued my work before I even started. Now, here's something important. The person doing the interview, often they're not the one that's setting the salary. So when you negotiate, understand that approval can take time. Could be a couple of days for them to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down from leadership. So don't panic if there's a pause. That's normal. A company that's going to value your work is going to show it long before day one. Now, if they rush you, pressure you, or get weird when you ask questions, that's who they'll be once you're hired. Don't ignore that signal. Now, that negotiation win alone is worth thousands of dollars. That entire strategy plus the full tax and monitoring checklist is all laid out for you in my ultimate remote job vetting guide. For just the cost of a cup of coffee, you can save yourself months of frustration. Don't worry, the link's waiting for you below. Now, let's talk about the final two traps that you need to avoid. Okay, you've done your homework, you've vetted the company, you're getting close to a decision. But here's something else to consider. How scattered is that team that you're going to be working with remotely? My team was scattered around the globe. I'm on the East Coast, but many of the people that I worked with lived in places like California, India, Pakistan, Eastern Europe, and the Philippines. So when I started work at 7 a.m. Eastern, well, half my team was still asleep. Need an answer to move forward? Send an email. Wait 8 hours, 12 hours, sometimes a whole day. Half my day was gone before I could even move forward. And that's really not the company's fault, but it's going to tank your productivity, and that's going to show up in your performance review. Now, before you sign anything, ask, what time zones will my team be in, and how much overlap do we actually have? If the answer is minimal, dig deeper. Do they have a backup contact? Do they have a clear escalation path? Or are you just going to be spinning your wheels for half a day? Because that waiting game is going to get old fast, and it's going to affect how you're perceived at review time. Now, here's something almost nobody thinks about until April. Taxes. They can work totally different if you're working remote. Now, this can be the silent killer of remote work, so pay close attention. If you're thinking that you can file your taxes like you always have, that may or may not be true. It turns out different states are going to have different rules. And some states are going to happily tax you even if your only connection of their state is a Zoom call. So you might wind up owing taxes you don't expect, or end up hiring a tax professional or get hit with a tax bill you didn't see coming. So ask questions before you accept the job. Before you say yes to any remote position, you need to ask, will I owe taxes in your state and mine? Where will my income be reported? Does my state's remote work law change anything? And this is a big one. Am I a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor? Now, that last one matters a lot. Here's why. A W-2 employee is where the company is going to withhold your taxes, and they're going to handle a lot. Simpler at tax time. A 1099 contractor, on the other hand, you get the full amount, but you have to handle all the taxes, all the self-employment tax, all the quarterly payments, and health care. It's all on you. So these are two completely different situations. Contractor responsibilities hit way harder. Now, if you're outside the U.S., your tax situation is completely different. You'll need to research your own country's rules. But the principle is the same. Know exactly what your tax obligation is before you accept the job. You want clarity before the year starts, not surprises later. When I was 63, I made the jump and worked there for over 5 years. No roadmap, no mentors, no clue if I was about ready to blow up my whole career and my finances. But it turned out to be the best decision I ever made. Great team, loved my job, enjoyed working remotely. The difference between me and someone who crashes and burns in a remote role? Well, I tried to do the work first. I asked the hard questions. I understood most of what I was walking into, the good and the bad. Now, you can do the same thing. Now, I created a complete guide with everything that I learned, the questions I asked, the red flags, and more, plus a full checklist so you can get it in the link below. Print it out, work through it before you accept any offer. Don't wing this. If you want to dodge those keystroke trackers and multi-state tax bills and the 1099 contractor trap, grab the Ultimate Remote Job Vetting Manual in the link below. For less than $5, you're going to get the entire system and the printable checklist to help guarantee your success. So get that job that respects you, okay? Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.